Hello, friends. A warm welcome to the Wellness Inspired Podcast, the place where you can find inspiration, motivation, and empowerment in the pursuit of a wellness lifestyle. I'm your host, Sherry Davidson. I am a wellness coach and acupuncturist in Houston, Texas, and deeply passionate about health and well-being. And as always, I am here with my Terrier Mix rescue dog and co-host Finn. He is also my coworker, trail runner, therapy dog, and forever loyal sidekick. And we have an exciting episode for you today. In a previous episode, I expelled a myth that acupuncture only treats pain. I believe it was episode 26, if you're interested in going back and listening to that. Pain is the number one reason people seek out acupuncture for treatment. And I thought it would be helpful to expand on this topic. So in this episode, I want to dive in deeper on how acupuncture treats pain, the theory, diagnosing, and treatment. And I'm excited to share it with you today. We have all suffered from pain at some point in our life, acute or chronic, and it's no fun. It can interfere with your daily activities and make life feel less joyful. In fact, the majority of Americans, 58.9% of adults, are living with chronic pain. That's a lot. And traditional medicine has proven to be a temporary fix for many. However, if you're looking for a long-term, non-invasive solution that doesn't involve popping pharmaceuticals daily or living in agony, the answer lies in an ancient practice. Welcome to the world of holistic healing. The secret's out, and it's called acupuncture, an ancient form of medicine used in China dating back 5,000 years ago. That's a long time. It has a history as an effective and non-invasive treatment for pain. From sciatica to chronic headaches, acupuncture has proven its potential to relieve people from a range of conditions associated with physical discomfort. So keep listening to discover how acupuncture and Eastern medicine can rid your body of pain forever. But before we move forward, I want to mention several ways a practitioner of TCM treats pain. We typically use a combination of acupuncture, which we're going to talk more about in this episode. We use Chinese herbal medicine. Chinese herbal medicine uses natural substances like roots, leaves, and flowers to treat a wide range of health conditions. And many Chinese herbs have anti-inflammatory, analgesic, and pain-relieving properties that can reduce pain and inflammation. We use body work. One really common body work in traditional Chinese medicine is called Tui Na. I don't use Tui Na in my clinic. I use Zen Shiatsu, but Tui Na is a body work that involves the use of rhythmic compression, stretching techniques to relieve pain and tension in the muscles and joints. If you go to a very traditional acupuncturist, very traditional Chinese medicine, they might suggest Qigong or Tai Chi, which are gentle forms of exercises. It's all based on the principles of Chinese medicine. And these practices can help improve circulation, reduce stress, and promote relaxation, all of which can reduce pain and promote healing. I don't prescribe Qigong and Tai Chi, but I might suggest certain exercises. And I think that's probably a majority of the acupuncturists out there. I'm not sure how many actually recommend Qigong and Tai Chi anymore, unless they're incredibly traditional in their practices. And the last piece that we might add to the treatment plan is diet and lifestyle changes. Chinese medicine views health as a reflection of the balance between the body, mind, and environment. So Chinese medicine practitioners may recommend dietary changes, such as avoiding certain foods that may exacerbate pain and inflammation, and lifestyle changes, such as getting enough rest and reducing stress to help manage pain and promote healing. Okay, well, those are some of the additional things a practitioner will incorporate for a holistic treatment plan. So are you ready? Well, let's jump into today's topic on acupuncture, the ancient secret to pain relief. Let's unlock the secrets to acupuncture for pain relief. Before we start talking about acupuncture, it's important I explain some basic theory of Chinese medicine, because I want to help you understand our viewpoint on illnesses and conditions. Because guys, this is where the magic lies in our medicine. At least that's what I believe. Traditional Chinese medicine is a holistic approach to healthcare used to treat a wide range of health conditions, including pain. This pain can be physical or emotional pain. And from a traditional Chinese medicine perspective, the theory is based on the concept of qi, not cheese that you would put on a cracker, qi. It is pronounced Chee, and it's spelled Qi, and it's pronounced qi. I can't tell you how many times in the clinic I will say qi, and somebody will look at me and go, cheese? I'm like, no. But the qi is the vital energy that flows through the body along channels called meridians. When the flow of qi is moving through the body freely, there is no physical pain or emotional pain. When you experience pain, it's a symptom of an underlying imbalance or blockage of qi in the body and meridians. Various factors, including emotional stress, physical injury, poor diet, and environmental factors, can cause a disruption in the flow of qi. Essentially, pain is a warning sign that something is wrong and that the body needs attention and care. And through a traditional Chinese medicine lens, it seeks to address the root cause of the problem rather than just treating the symptom. Acupuncture, herbal medicine, and all the other modalities I mentioned in the intro can promote the body's natural healing processes to relieve pain. Now, I oversimplified the theory here, but what's important to remember is that pain, physical or emotional, is a blockage or stagnation for us. So what causes this blockage or stagnation in traditional Chinese medicine? Well, there are several different reasons. This is one of the most beautiful things about our medicine is pattern differentiation. 5 people can walk into my clinic with back pain, and all of them might get a different diagnosis. So here are several different patterns that cause physical pain. I'll talk about the emotional pain because that's a little bit different. But these are the different patterns of physical pain in Chinese medicine, each with its unique characteristics. We have cold pain. Cold pain is characterized by feeling of coldness and is often associated with stiffness and aching in the joints. This type of pain is caused by a qi deficiency and blood deficiency, which can be caused by exposure to cold temperatures, poor circulation, or a weak immune system. I'm going to go on a tangent here because there is a lot of hype around cold water therapy, that's ice baths and cryotherapy, and there is some research that it can help recover from exercise, pain relief, improve circulation, and increase oxygen levels in the blood, boost moods, and build resilience. But in Chinese medicine, we don't use cold therapy. We use acupuncture and herbs to reduce inflammation, reduce swelling, relieve pain, and promote recovery and healing. We do this by moving the qi and blood of the body. We prefer warmth because cold stops movement of qi and blood. Now, I haven't done any research on cold water therapy, but I'm going to assume that there are some pros and cons to it. So I can't give you a solid opinion right now. Maybe that's a future episode. Okay, so another type of pain that we diagnose in Chinese medicine is damp pain. Damp pain is characterized by heavy, dull sensation and is often associated with swelling and stiffness. This type of pain is caused by an accumulation of dampness in the body, resulting from a diet high in damp-producing foods such as dairy and processed foods, or exposure to damp environments. Hello, Houston. Another type of pain, heat pain. Heat pain is characterized by a burning or throbbing sensation and is often associated with inflammation and redness. This type of pain is caused by excessive heat in the body, which can result in stress, overexertion, and an unhealthy diet as well. Another type of pain we diagnose is qi stagnation pain. A qi stagnation pain is characterized by dull, achy sensation and often associated with a feeling of tightness or tension. This pain is caused by a blockage of qi in the body, resulting from emotional stress, poor posture, or overexertion. There is wind pain. Wind pain refers to a type of pain that is characterized by sudden onset, rapid changes in location, and sensitivity to weather changes. Wind pain can be caused by external factors such as exposure to wind or cold, or internal factors such as an underlying condition that affects the flow of qi and blood in the body. And lastly, we have blood stagnation. Blood stagnation pain is characterized by a sharp, stabbing, fixed pain in one area and not moving. It is often associated with tenderness, swelling, and discoloration, such as bruising or purple or dark red skin. This type of pain, caused by stagnation of blood, results from emotional stress, physical injury, poor diet, and environmental factors. So there you have it. Those are the main patterns for physical pain. And each pattern would receive a different point prescription, a different herbal formula, and different dietary and lifestyle recommendations. Super cool. Okay, now let's move on to some of the common Chinese medicine patterns for emotional pain. And the most common type of emotional pain that we see in the clinic is liver qi stagnation. The liver is believed to be responsible for the smooth flow of qi throughout the body. And when the liver becomes congested or stagnant, emotional pain such as frustration, anger, and depression can occur. Now, we also have heart qi deficiency. The heart is considered to be the emperor of the body and is responsible for the circulation of blood and the regulation of emotions. When the heart qi is deficient, a person may experience feelings of anxiety, restlessness, and sadness. We also have a kidney qi deficiency. The kidneys are associated with the root of vitality and play a key role in maintaining the body's reserves of qi and blood. When the kidney qi is deficient, a person may experience feelings of fear, insecurity, and lack of willpower. There is a spleen qi deficiency. The spleen is responsible for transforming food into qi and blood and distributing it throughout the body. And when the spleen qi is deficient, a person may experience feelings of worry, overthinking, and mental fatigue. Last is liver yang rising. This emotional pain is characterized by symptoms such as irritability, anger, anxiety, and insomnia. When the liver yang rises, it can cause an excessive amount of energy to rise upward in the body. And this can also lead to symptoms such as headaches, dizziness, and the feeling of pressure in the head. It can also cause a feeling of heat in the body, which usually is accompanied by dry mouth, thirst, and constipation. There you have it, the most common patterns of emotional pain. And I don't want to confuse you here, but some of these patterns can also manifest as physical pain too. But the goal here is to give you an idea of how we diagnose as TCM practitioners. So the next question you might have is, how does a TCM practitioner diagnose these patterns of pain? We diagnose pain by examining the location, quality, and intensity of pain, as well as other accompanying symptoms. We use this information to identify these patterns of disharmony to develop a personalized treatment plan that addresses the root cause of the pain. So I want to give you a case example here on how these patterns play out or how a pattern plays out. If someone comes in with low back pain, I look at all of their symptoms. TCM practitioners ask a lot of what seem to be unrelated questions, but asking all of these questions help us get to the root cause of pain. So after the initial intake, I might determine the low back pain is due to a kidney deficiency. This type of back pain will not respond to muscle relaxers because it has nothing to do with the muscles. The typical pharmaceutical cocktail for pain in Western medicine is an anti-inflammatory, muscle relaxers, and pain medication. But this is not the root cause. If there is any relief, it's usually short-term relief. In TCM, addressing the kidney deficiency with acupuncture, herbal medicine, dietary, and lifestyle changes, the back pain is resolved. Beautiful, just beautiful. Okay, since this episode is focused on acupuncture and the treatment of pain, what exactly is acupuncture? Most of you know, acupuncture involves the insertion of thin needles into specific points on the body to stimulate the flow of qi and promote healing. The acupuncturist will choose points based on the diagnosis, location, quality of the pain, and other accompanying symptoms. The needles are typically left in place for 30 to 45 minutes during a visit. Now, each acupuncturist is different. We've all had different schoolings. We all have different interests, and there are many schools of thought out there. So going to one acupuncturist for pain and then going to another acupuncturist for pain, they might have very different styles of treating. So just be mindful of that there is no one way to approach treating pain or any condition in Chinese medicine. During this time with the needles, the patient may feel a tingling, dull ache, or other mild sensations. And in my experience, most people don't think this is painful. Most people actually find it relaxing and fall asleep. And for those listening who have not had acupuncture, I know you're probably wondering, how can it be relaxing with needles in you? But it's true. We have a term for this in acupuncture, and we call it the AcuZone. It's when people come out of their session so relaxed that they just have a hard time orienting themselves back into reality. So it's quite comical sometimes, but we do have a term for it, and we call it the AcuZone. So how many visits do you need for the treatment of pain? Well, it really depends on what type of pain you are treating and how the individual responds to acupuncture. I usually say expect 4 to 6 visits to see improvement, and then we reevaluate and move forward accordingly. Again, it really depends on the diagnosis. I have had people with pain due to tension that respond in 1 visit, and a patient in post-op recovery for an Achilles tear may come in for months. So you can really see it depends on the patient and what type of pain they come in with. So here's the mystery that most people want to solve. How does acupuncture work to treat pain? Research shows acupuncture is effective for many types of pain, including back pain, joint pain, headaches, and menstrual cramps, all kinds of pain. How they figured it out 5,000 years ago, I don't know. But one thing I do know is they believed in the power of the body to self-heal. If you give it the support it needs, it can do amazing things. And this is healthcare from a different perspective. And the perspective you come from greatly determines what you find. For example, take the study of disease. You can study it from the perspective of longevity or from the perspective of disease. And I guarantee you, you'll find different things. In Western medicine, we tend to focus on the external. It's the pharmaceuticals we believe have the power. We believe the doctors have the power. We give no acknowledgement to the power and abilities of our own bodies if we give it what it needs. This is not every case, but a majority. And that's the beauty of our medicine. And that's another episode. So let's get back on track. The mechanism by which acupuncture works for pain relief has yet to be fully understood in the Western world. But still, several theories attempt to explain its effectiveness. Here are a few of the most commonly accepted theories. The first one is meridian theory. Now, we've already talked about this a little bit, but according to this theory, the human body has a system of meridians or channels through which qi, the vital energy, flows. The meridians are interconnected and form a network that links the organs and tissues of the body. Acupuncture points are located along the meridians, and the insertion of needles at specific points is believed to stimulate the flow of qi and promote healing. Next one is neurotransmitter theory. Acupuncture is believed to stimulate the release of neurotransmitters such as endorphins, serotonin, and dopamine. These chemicals can help reduce pain, promote relaxation, and improve mood. And this explains the AcuZone. There's also endorphin theory. Acupuncture has been shown to increase levels of endorphins in the body, which are natural painkillers. Endorphins are produced by the pituitary gland in the hypothalamus and act on the body's opioid reactors to reduce pain and produce a feeling of euphoria. Again, AcuZone. There is the gate control theory. The gate control theory proposes that acupuncture stimulates the nervous system and activates pain modulating pathways. This can help block pain signals from reaching the brain and reduce pain perception. There's the fascia theory. Fascia is the connective tissue that surrounds and supports the muscles, organs, and structures of the body. Recent research suggests that acupuncture may work by stimulating the fascia and promoting the release of tension and stiffness in the body. This is one I don't know very much about, but I put it in here because it's a theory. It's the bioelectromagnetic theory. And this theory proposes that acupuncture works by affecting the electromagnetic fields that exist within and around the body. By stimulating specific points along the meridians, acupuncture may help balance those fields and promote healing. Don't know much about that, but I wanted to throw that in there. It actually sounds more like esoteric acupuncture, but wanted to put it in there. And then the last but not least, it's the anti-inflammatory theory. Acupuncture has been shown to have an anti-inflammatory effect, which can reduce pain and swelling. The needles used in acupuncture can stimulate the release of anti-inflammatory substances, such as adenosine, which can reduce inflammation and pain. That is all super cool, right? Well, here is another cool thing about TCM. When performed by a qualified and licensed practitioner, acupuncture is generally considered to be safe and low-risk form of therapy. The risk of serious adverse events associated with acupuncture is very low, and most people experience only minor temporary side effects such as mild bruising, soreness, and every once in a while some dizziness, especially if they've been laying face down and they get up out of the face cradle, sometimes causes some dizziness. But however, as with any medical procedure, there are some risks associated with acupuncture. So I just want to be transparent here. And these risks may include infection, injury to tissue and organs, and adverse reactions to needles and herbs and treatment. In addition, certain individuals may be at increased risk of complications due to underlying medical conditions or medication. I have been practicing for 13 plus years, and fortunately, I have not seen any infections, injuries, or severe reactions to needles or herbs. The reactions to needles and herbs I have seen have been very minor and temporary in my clinic. And I'm going to knock on wood because I want to keep it that way. So to minimize risk associated with acupuncture, again, it's important to seek treatment from a licensed and qualified acupuncturist who has undergone appropriate training and certification. In addition, it's also important to disclose any underlying medical conditions, medications, or allergies to your practitioner before beginning treatment. That is a great lead into, and I want to wrap this episode up with, how do you find a qualified acupuncturist? And you can do this by following a few steps. So the first thing that you can do is check the regulatory requirements in your area. In most states or countries, acupuncturists are required to be licensed or registered with a regulatory body. You can check with your local health department or regulatory board to find out what the requirements are in your area. For example, I live and practice in the state of Texas, so I don't really know what is required in other states, and definitely I don't know what's required in other countries. But in the state of Texas, acupuncturists and Chinese medicine practitioners are regulated by the Texas Board of Acupuncture Examiners. The Texas Board of Acupuncture Examiners is put into place to protect and enhance the public's health, safety, and welfare by establishing and maintaining standards of excellence used in regulating the practice of acupuncture and ensuring quality health care for the citizens of Texas. And I have to admit, I proudly serve on the board. This is my second year of a 5-year term, and we sit under the Texas Medical Board. So to practice acupuncture in Texas, an individual or a practitioner must graduate from an accredited acupuncture program recognized by the Texas Board of Acupuncture Examiners. They also must pass the National Certification Exam in Acupuncture administered by the NCCAOM, that is the National Certification Commission for Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine. Also, they must obtain a license from the Texas Board of Acupuncture Examiners by submitting an application and passing the board examination. Chinese herbal medicine is also regulated by the Texas Board of Acupuncture Examiners. And I think this is very important for people to know. To prescribe Chinese herbal medicine, an acupuncturist must, again, pass the NCCAOM's examination in Chinese herbology. They also must complete 300 hours of board-approved training in Chinese herbal medicine. And, again, submit an application for certification and obtain a certification from the Texas Board of Acupuncture Examiners. Additionally, Acupuncturists in the state of Texas are required to renew their license every 2 years, as well as complete continuing educating credits to maintain their license. And I think it's 17 hours of continuing education. I think that's the number of hours. And by adhering to all of these regulatory requirements, acupuncturists and Chinese medicine practitioners in Texas can provide safe and effective treatment to all their patients. So that's the state of Texas. So if you're in another state, another country, you'll have to do a little research into what is required for your area. Another thing that you can do when looking for a qualified practitioner is look for recommendations. You can ask your primary care doctor, family, friends, colleagues, ask them for recommendations for a qualified acupuncturist, someone that they liked. You can also search online for reviews and recommendations. In my practice and my experience, these are the top 2 ways people find me. Also, once you have a list of potential acupuncturists, check their qualifications and credentials. Look for an acupuncturist who has completed an accredited acupuncture program and licensed or registered with the regulatory body in your area. The first step was checking the requirements in your area, and this step is about making sure the acupuncturist is following these requirements. Another thing you can do, before committing to a treatment, it's a good idea to schedule a consultation with an acupuncturist to discuss your health concerns and treatment options. And during the consultation, you can also ask questions about their experience, training, and approach to treatment. In my boutique style practice, I don't typically schedule consultations, but what I will do is take the time to answer these questions over the phone. I know they're important to people, so I take the time to answer any questions that someone new might have. And finally, consider factors such as cost and convenience when choosing an acupuncturist. Acupuncture treatment can vary in cost depending on the location and the practitioner's experience and expertise. You should also consider the location of the acupuncturist's office and their availability for appointments. I have seen a wide range of pricing. There are community-style clinics, which tend to have a lower price point or operate on a sliding scale, to acupuncturists charging $300 per visit. Now, that can add up, so be sure you ask. All right, my friends, that's a wrap. By following these simple steps, you can find a qualified and experienced acupuncturist who can provide safe and effective treatment for any kind of pain or any of your health concerns. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast and share with your family and friends. You can also give me a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcast. It helps others find me as well. To get updates on new episodes and wellness inspiration in your inbox, please join the Wellness Inspired community. Go to the wellnessinspiredpodcast.com to sign up. I'll put a link in the show notes so you can click and join. Also, there is a Facebook community at The Wellness Inspired, and follow me on Instagram at wellness_inspired. If you are in the Houston area or just visiting and interested in our services, acupuncture, herbal medicine, cupping, Zen Shiatsu, or dry needling therapy, contact us. You can find out more on our website at element5om.com. That's element, the number 5om.com. I'll put the link in the show notes as well. If you're interested in health and wellness coaching, we can connect in the clinic or on Zoom. Reach out and we'll get you on the schedule. As always, I would love to hear your feedback. I am dedicated to bringing you great content to inspire, motivate, and empower you in the pursuit of a wellness lifestyle. Thank you so much for listening. We'll meet here again next time. And never stop exploring, learning, loving, and being you. Bye.